My name's Sonia. I'm from rhCompass today. Thank you for joining. If you do have any questions, there'll be a section that you can actually ask questions, or those that have got their audio active, you can actually just use and ask a question. If you have a question, ask me as we go, and we can answer anything there. I am recording the session, as I mentioned, for Raine and Horne, so we'll just start. So today's session we're going to focus on setting up action plans and your merge letters, so document library letters. In my desktop, we call the trails, or we call it action plans. Some system calls it trails or reminders, and we call it action plans. And your merge letters, we call the document library. Okay, so it's just a bit of a terminology difference there between ourselves. Basically, we need to set up our letters and our email templates before we can set up our action plan. So for those of you that don't know what an action plan is, it's a set of reminders for an event. So if you've got a property that's listed, you can set some reminders for sales reps to follow up or admin to generate letters. It's basically a task list or a checklist for that particular process. Obviously, in that checklist, you have emails and SMSs and letters that can be generated as well. So we need to set up those first. So the first thing that you need to do is set up your email and SMS templates. Now, my suggestion would be is to go through and work on one set or one process at a time. So only focus on appraisals. Once you've got your appraisal action plan and letters all set up, then move on to the next process, so like listings and then sales. And that's the best way to do it, just do one thing at a time. Don't go and create all your letters, get them in, because that can get a little bit confusing sometimes. So just focus on one process at a time. You can give certain letters and plans access to different staff members. If you've got a high performer or a director that's selling, their letters will be slightly different to junior sales reps. So you can actually create plans and letters and only assign them to particular staff members as well. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is make sure you've got access to the action plan. So under System Admin, we're going to User Management, grabbing our profile for the person that you're logged in as, and you're just going down to your access levels, and you need to make sure that you've actually got access to modify and create action plans. You need to make sure that that checkbox is ticked. Okay, that way it'll allow you then to go in and create everything. Once you've made sure that you've got your access levels, I'm just pressing the rhCompass logo at the top left-hand corner. It'll always take you back to the home page. The next thing that we need to do is set up our email and SMS templates. So to do that, we're heading to System Administrator, and then you've got your Configure Email SMS Templates. Okay, so you do need to have access to the System Admin tab to be able to access and set these up. So once we go in there, we can actually see what templates that we have got in our database. Alternatively, we can create a brand new one down the bottom. Okay, so this is our email and SMS templates. Now, you don't have to use them in an action plan. You can use them directly from a contact, and we'll have a look at doing that once we've created one. So your office will have standard emails that they send out when the property is appraised, or if you've got a home open thank you. You can then put those templates in there. First of all, you can give your template a name, an email subject, and then you've got the content of your actual email. So I prepared one earlier, just so I don't have to sit here and type it out. I've created my email template in Microsoft Word. So rather than doing everything in desktop or in rhCompass, alternatively, you may already have these in your email program that your sales reps use. I'm just coming in, copying the content of my email and bringing it over to rhCompass and loading it into the template section. Now, obviously, you need to add in the merge fields from your contact. So for it to be addressed to someone. So if we say dear, and then we can use our merge fields in rhCompass. So the email merge fields are different to the print letter merge fields. So the email merge fields, we've actually already put them in the template box for you. All you need to do is click on the far right-hand toolbar option, and we can include the greeting. Okay, so when we go and send this email out, it'll use the greeting field on your contact. So it is very important that you make sure you fill out all the information on your contact screen, like your greeting, your address, envelope greeting, because obviously those bits of information then are able to be merged onto that particular letter. I just found a spelling mistake. Okay, so we've got our dear greeting, then we've got the content of our email, so you can type this out, or as you saw, I just copied and paste. Then we've got yours faithfully, so we want to sign it off by the sales rep that's attached to that particular contact. Again, we're just using the merge field. So we've got the rep's first name, we want the rep's last name, and we might want the rep's mobile number. Okay, so this is an email template. We're not displaying the email signature or anything like that because that's already been set up in your account. It's just the content of the actual email that we're setting up today. Now, with the toolbar across here, you can change the font size and the font color if you wanted to. You can bold or even set links through to different web pages and things like that if you wanted to go into that being that far advanced. Okay, so we've just got our body of our email there set up. I've already got my heading for that particular email and my subject line already set up. So I'm just copying and pasting that over there so you don't have to, like I said before, you don't have to sit there watching me type. So that's the name of our template and that's the email subject of what's going to be sent when we send it out. Now, as I said before, you can set email or SMS template, so you're just defining from that drop-down what we're actually setting up as a template. Okay, I'm just going to put my name on the end here so we can actually see and find it when we go to use it in a minute. As I said before, it is a huge process to set up these letters, so just focus on one area. So just worry about your appraisals at the onset and then worry about everything else. You may start off with auctions or whatever. Once we've got our template there ready to go, you can choose to include attachments if you wanted to, but this is just a template. We don't want to predefine any information that we're sending through in regards to attachments. We can add them when we go to send that email. I'm going to make this available to everyone in the office, and then we can just create that particular template. So that template is now available in the list. Okay, we can search for that template. So that's where it is, the 12-month appraisal follow-up. That's the one that we've just set up there. If I made a mistake or I wanted to come back and edit it, again, I just need to go to System Admin, Configure Email SMS Templates, locate my template that we've got in there, and we can load that up and go and edit it if we've added in incorrect information. Okay, so that's creating the email or SMS template, so you can do both. Once you've created those, you can actually then go into a contact and start using those templates. So if we go and find a contact, it's locating a contact in the system. Okay. Now, if we scroll down to the contact screen, so this is the standard contact information screen, as long as that contact has an email address defined, there'll be an email button there. So this particular contact doesn't have an email address. So I'm just going to add one in today. Okay, so we've added in the email address. I'm going to update that contact. Go back to the contact screen. And now, as long as an email is defined on that contact, you'll then have a send email button. Okay, so if we go to send email, we can select from those templates. Okay. So we've got our 12-month appraisal one. That's the one that we've just set up and loaded in. Dear greeting. So, because as I said, we were grabbing the greeting field on the contact. I need to go back to the contact and make sure the letter greeting and the envelope greetings are filled out. Obviously, that's what merges for this particular contact. Okay, so this one doesn't have anything. So I'll just fill it in and update the contact again. Okay, so this is why it's important that you fill all this contact information out, because when you start to use the letters and the emails, all that information is there. You don't have to keep going back in and update that contact to make sure that you're sending the correct email. Okay, so if we go back to that send email button, again, I'm going to locate that letter. Okay, I can choose to CC or BCC myself in so you get a copy of it. However, bearing in mind every email that you send out of Compass, the note gets logged of what you're sending. We can then choose an attachment if we wanted to. Okay, and then we're going to send that email now. So once you've set up those templates, they're available there for your sales reps to quickly send an email. They're not sitting there having to type all that information out. You've got the core information there. They can edit that template if they want to before they send it. Okay, if you want to, as you saw, you can add attachments and things like that. So that's setting up your email and SMS templates and sending your email templates. Any questions on setting those up? No? Okay. All right, so once you've set up your email and SMS templates, the next thing that we need to set up are our email, is our letter template, so our print letter template. This is a little bit more complicated because you do a few little things outside of rhCompass, and then you need to bring them back into Compass. So the first thing that you need to do to create your letters is head to Letters and Plans, and we want to go to the Document Library /Action Plan section. Okay. Once we come in here, if we scroll down, there's a little click here hyperlink. It's a really light grey link, and that's a list of our merge fields. Okay, so you need to put our merge fields into your letter so that the contact information will then merge. So if we click here, this is a list of our merge fields. Now the merge fields are always changing, and there's a lot in there. A couple of things I'll point out in regards to the merge fields is generally we deal with a contact, so you've got contact merge fields. If the contact is attached as a purchaser, there are specific purchaser merge fields. Okay, you can see the purchaser. If the contact is attached as a vendor, there's vendor merge fields. Obviously, because there's two contacts attached to a property, we've got the two different merge fields there. Now, one thing where people get stuck is once the property's settled, there's no purchaser attached, okay, because the purchaser drops off. So once the property's settled, you need to be very careful what merge fields you use. Otherwise, if you choose the purchaser merge fields, they're obviously going to come through blank because there's no purchaser attached. That contact's no longer attached as a purchaser. They'll become a past purchaser. Same as your vendor. Your vendors will drop off, and your purchasers will be attached as your vendors. So you need to be very careful what merge fields that you use. And then we've also got some client, lessee and lessor merge fields as well if you're dealing with commercial properties. If you use the control button on your keyboard and press the F button, it'll come up with a search facility. So if you're looking for an advertising merge field, rather than actually scrolling through and looking for that merge field, you can type it in. Same as like, commission. If you wanted to search for the commission, you don't actually have to scroll through. You just press the control button and the F button on your keyboard, and you can have a look through that way. Now, some people will print this off and they'll keep a copy of it beside them, or alternatively, you can keep your page open. And then what we need to do is we need to leave rhCompass and open up a Microsoft Word document. Okay, so we just want to open up a blank document. Okay, so I'm just going to close down my email template. And then we've got a blank document. Okay, so we need to set up our letter. What you can do is, as I said, you can keep this open, and back in the old days, you used to have to sit there and type it. You can copy the merge field, bring it over into Microsoft Word, and start generating your letter. Okay, so you just need to copy and paste all the merge fields over as you need. If you're writing a purchaser letter, you're grabbing a purchaser merge field. Okay, so that's creating it from scratch. What I've also done is I've pre-opened and pre-got ready is a letter from one that I've already got here ready to go. I'm going to open it up. Okay, so this is out of another system. This is a letter that an office has previously had set up that they wanted to then use as a merge letter in rhCompass. Okay, so they've got some strange merge fields in here because they've used this letter in another system or they've used it on their computer. Okay, what we want to do is get our letter looking like this. So this is a proper letter. This has got our merge fields in there. It's addressed with all our merge fields, and then it's got the content of our actual email in there. Okay? So you need to go through and sit there and type that out, put our merge fields. You can copy and paste them, or you can type them in. Now, if you do type them in, just bear in mind spelling mistakes and things like that. So you need to double check what merge fields you're putting in there and make sure that they're spelled correctly. Okay, so it can take quite a long process to get your letters ready, obviously because you need to sit there and work out what merge fields you need to put into which area. Once you're ready and your letter's all ready to go and you're happy with that, you've got your merge fields in there, don't just save your document. This is the most important thing that you need to remember when you're saving your letters. You need to go to the File menu and hit Save As. Okay, we don't want you saving your documents as a .doc or a .docx. They must be saved as a rich text format document, okay, an RTF. Okay, so you need to save it in that format. If you don't save it in that format, it won't merge in rhCompass when you bring it over, okay, because it's not in the right format. You must save it as a rich text format. Okay, so once we've created a letter and saved it as a rich text, I'm just going to replace the one on my computer. Now, another note on this, because it is rich text, there's no logos and there's no images in the document. You can't load up a logo, a signature, or a photo or anything like that. If you load up that in the document, one, it may not generate. Two, it may take forever to generate. And if you're doing a bulk mail merge, you're going to blow your batches out, which will make a bit of sense in a minute. So you must load a straight document up there with text, no images. Okay. So now this document, I'll just delete these three. This document now is on my computer. So this one is the RTF. I can see that it's an RTF. We now need to load that into rhCompass so that we can start using it. So I'm just opening up rhCompass again. I'm going to Letters and Plans, Document Library Action Plans, so it's going to take us back to that same area, and we can load that letter up. Now, before we load that letter up, if you're going to load up 50 letters for your office, if you've got your appraisal, your listing, and your selling letters, you'll soon find that you'll end up with about 50 letters in the system. So rather than searching through every single letter to try and find the one that you want, you can categorize your letters. So you can group all your listing letters, group all your appraisal letters. So you can, first of all, you can create your categories. Okay, so in this is a demo account, so we've got lots of categories where everyone's had a go. You've got your listing letters here. We've got some property management letters, our settled letters. So you can actually group them together. So rather than looking through 100 letters, so like here, these ones are all uncategorized. There's 725 documents in there. So rather than doing that, you can come in here and grab the least letters, and there's just 5 letters. So it's easily able to be able to grab those letters. So to create those categories, you can just give it a name, and you can edit or update an existing category. I'm just going back to Letters and Plans and then Document Library Action Plan. We now want to load that letter up that we've just created. So if I just go into the Load Letters, I'm looking on my computer now for that letter. So the letter that I've created was that listing copy. So it was an RTF document. You can see there on the right-hand side. I'm just choosing that letter. We can categorize it straight away. So I'm just going to put it in that one with Sonia's lease letters, so it's a lot easier for us to find in a few minutes. Now, you can load up your letter and you're loading up the document. Okay. If you've loaded up the document and you've made a mistake in it, so you need to load it up again, you can update existing letters and plans, and also you can update just new ones. Okay, so you can replace the file, or just the new ones. Again, you can give certain staff access to that letter as well. I'm just going to flip that to everyone. Okay, so we're going to load up the letter. Okay, our letter's now loaded up into rhCompass and we can start using that. You can remove a letter if you've loaded something up or you no longer need it. You've got the Remove a Letter there button. You can preview the document as well if you wanted to have a look and see what it looks like rather than going into a contact and generating a letter. You can preview the letter there, and you can change ownership of that particular document as well. So if you've loaded it up to only have access to one staff, you can then open it up to have everyone have access to that particular document as well. So that's loading up our letters. I'm just going to come back into Compass now, and I'm going to go and find that contact that I had before. Okay, I'm just going to grab our contact. Again, I'm just checking that the letter greeting, the envelope greeting's in there. So I'm going to switch those around. Okay, again, you need to make sure that when you add the contact in that all this information is added in correctly. Making sure that there's also an address attached to this particular contact, and there's a postal address as well. Okay, because we're doing a print letter, we're addressing it correctly. Going to update that contact and go back into that contact so that the letter greeting and the envelope greetings are around the right way. So it is really important to preview the information before we generate the letter. As I said, we call our letters a document library, so I'm just heading into the document library on that particular contact. Okay, and now you can see all those categories of the letters. So for us to easily search that letter that we just loaded up, I'm going to Sonia's lease letters. And the one that I added in today was the listing copy. You can double click on it and it will open, or alternatively, you can open the document down the bottom and it will generate. So, generated my letter for me. And as you can see, some information has merged over. It just depends on the contact and the merge fields that you're using. Okay, so the dates come over. The letter greeting and the envelope greeting haven't come over because I've used vendor merge fields and this contact wasn't attached to a property. So that's why it's really important that you choose what merge fields you're using, so your client, your vendor and your purchaser merge fields. The address has come over, and then obviously the address down there as well. Okay, so that's how you can generate your letters and load them in. So we've gone through adding in our email templates, our SMS templates, and our letters. Now we actually want to create an action plan, so our task list or checklist. So to do that, we're going to letters and plans, and then you've got the document library action plan again. Okay, now we're going to focus on the top section here. You can modify or change an existing plan. So if you want to change something that you've already created, you can come into the modify existing plan, locate your plan and change it. We can create a brand new plan. We can create a brand new plan, which is what we're going to do today. You can delete a plan if it becomes obsolete. Now, before you delete a plan, you need to detach all the contacts that are attached to that plan. Okay? So we can see who's attached to a plan by coming into seeing who's attached, locating the plan, and we're showing who's attached to that plan. So we've got one contact attached to that plan. We can then go into that and have a look. Okay? So for today, we're going to create a brand new plan, and we're going to create a listing plan. So I'm going to come into here and go create new plan. So this is our task list or our checklist. So I'm going to create a task list or checklist for our listings. Okay, and I'm not going to do it for an auction listing. I'm just going to go and generate it for a normal listing. I'm just putting my name in there so I can actually see when we go and search in here, because as I said, it's a demo database, so there's a lot of contacts and a lot of information in here. I'm just going to copy the plan name and put it in the description. You can put a better description in here as to what the plan's for. And it just gives the sales reps an idea when they're attaching that action plan, what they can do with that. And again, I'm going to make everyone have access to this particular plan. You can narrow it down for particular staff members if they do things slightly different. I'm going to create the plan. So the plan's now created, but we actually need to build it. We actually need to add the steps that we want to take for when we list the property. So you can return to the customer service manager, or alternatively, as I said, we want to build this plan. So we want to go and define and attach correspondence. This will start to make a lot more sense now. So this is where we add in our letters to be sent on a certain day. We can set our emails to be sent on a particular day as well. So it's a blank plan. We need to build our items on the plan. So we need to add an item. So the first item on day one, I'm not going to generate or send a reminder, a document. I'm going to actually set it as a task reminder. So it's a reminder that will be emailed to the sales rep on their task list. So rhCompass will email every staff member each day what they're supposed to do, follow up and things like that. I'm going to say update client categories to make sure they align with the listing. Okay, so whatever categories you want to attach to that contact when you list the property. So it's just a reminder. I'm going to make the sales rep that's attached to that particular contact responsible for that item. Okay, so day one, they're going to get that reminder. Okay, so day one, once the plan's attached, the sales rep is going to get a task reminder to update the client categories. So this is a listing plan. Then on day three, I might want to send a letter. So it's a thank you letter from the licensee. We're going to generate a document. We're going to go and find our document. Okay. Again, we can put in a description in there of what the document is if you wanted to. And again, I'm going to make the sales rep responsible for that letter. Okay. So day one and day three, one's sending a reminder, one's sending a letter. That's the letter that needs to be sent, and it's responsible for the sales rep. So it's going to come on from that sales rep's task list. We're going to also add, as I said before, this is a listing plan. So I'm going to set a task reminder on day two, and the property to all websites. Okay. Now I'm going to make that one the responsibility of a particular staff member, so an admin staff member. I can actually choose that it's this staff member's responsibility, so it's going to come up on their task list and add that transaction. So now you've got 1, 2, and 3 days. These items are all needing to be done. Same again, we can then also choose to send an email or an SMS template that we've set up. Just selecting the template. Let me just find something a little bit better. Grabbing the sales rep responsible for that and sending that out. Now, the email will automatically send out on that day. Okay, you don't have to do anything. You do need to come back in and generate that letter once we've attached it. So as I said right from the start, it'll be easier if you work on one plan at a time. So if you just focus on your appraisals or your listings or even an auction checklist as well. Okay, so work on one thing, get your letters in there, build that up, and then work on the next one. Once you've created your plan, you actually now need to use the plan. So to use your plan, you're going to your contact. So your admin will generally create all the plans, and then your sales reps need to start using them and attaching them to their contacts. So coming in here, we're grabbing our contact. Okay. Every contact will have an action plan button across the top there. Okay, so we now need to add that plan. Going to action plan. As you can see, this contact has already got an action plan attached. We can add multiple plans. So as you can see from this particular contact, the contact has already got 7 other action plans attached to them. Okay, so you can add multiple plans. We can delete action plans if something isn't applicable, so we can remove that RH appraisal plan. We can remove that plan. We just need to hit the delete button twice to remove it. And we can remove all of them if we want. We'll sit here and delete them. Okay. You can flick through the different plans if you want to have a look, just by pressing the drop down, selecting the other plan, and going and having a look at the other plan if you want to. Okay, I'm just going to delete all of these. And then we can actually go and attach a new plan to that particular client. So to attach a new plan, We're just selecting the plan, listing. Okay, that's the plan that we've created before. Locating the plan, we're attaching it to the property and the contact, and we're going to use that plan. So that plan that we've just created before is now attached to that particular contact. Okay? The emails, as I said, the emails will automatically be sent, and then the letters you need to come in here and generate. You can delete the plan, you can add another plan if we wanted to. Alternatively, we can edit this particular plan as well. So if we know this particular client doesn't have an email address, we don't want to send them an email then. So we can come in here and edit the plan. Okay. So we can go in here and edit and make any changes, update client categories. We can change that to a letter if we wanted to. Same as if we wanted to change that email, we can change that from an email. We can change that to a task reminder to make a phone call rather than an email. So you can edit that. It's only going to edit that plan on that contact. It's not editing the template that you created originally. It's just editing it for this particular contact. You can add other items as well. So if you wanted to do a few more points of contact for this particular client because you know them so well, you can add other plans as well. You can also change the dates. So when we created the template, we said it was day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 may fall on a weekend. So you can come in here and change it from day 1. We can change it to a specific date if you want to as well. Okay. And we can then save that to a particular staff member and a particular date. We can change that item. So that's using those plans. So we've created a letter, we've created an email template, and we've created our checklist or our action plan. So that's the process. I'm going to open it up now, so if you do have any questions, ask away. Otherwise, thank you for joining today. But yeah, ask any questions and we'll go from there.
Hi.
Hi.
Is that somebody trying to ask a question, or the audio is really low for you, if you were?
No, I've just opened. There was one person that had joined that was giving us a lot of feedback, so I had to mute them. So I've just unmuted them, and it's just a lot of feedback off their line.
All right, no worries.
So does anyone have any questions at all?
Not at this stage.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, thank you for everyone for joining.
Use that? Oh, sorry, Tonya. I just thought, does that given anybody some other ideas on how you can actually utilise that in your office, other than just sort of, you know, the standard one seems to be for the appraisal process or for the listing process. Then given everybody else some other ideas as well. All right, very quiet group today. Thanks very much, Sonia.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining. If you do have any questions, contact our support team. Alternatively, you can drop me an email or a call and I can help you out where we can. There's lots of ideas that you can use for your action plans. As Amber said, it's not just restricted to the listing and appraisal. You know, there's auctions, there's home open action plans that people do. Obviously, once the property's settled, you want to keep that contact as well, so you can set up a settlement action plan for the vendor and the purchaser as well. So yeah, there's a whole host if you want some ideas.
For welcomes for new tenants as well to follow up, you know, reminders of them getting ready into their new house as well. So it's also for rental, so don't discount that.
Yeah. All right, not a problem. So thank you everyone for joining. If you do have any questions, like I said, send them through and we'll answer them where we can.